Welcome back, everyone. This is GTA Failure. In our last video, we tackled the first Mr. Black mission. That one was called Roadkill. This video is about the second of 5 Mr. Black missions. It's called Waste the Wife. Note that every one of these 5 Mr. Black missions is an assassination contract.
My compliments on a job well done, Mr. Teal. My client was very pleased. I have more work for you, with a more hands-on approach. Your next job is taped under the phone.
So let's go ahead and read the note taped under the phone. Mrs. Dawson will be leaving the jewelry shop in Vice Point soon. Kill her. It must look like a car accident. So when it says she's leaving the shop soon, that's a lie. She doesn't leave the shop until you go into this pink marker in a vehicle. So just for kicks, I'm going to head into the jewelry shop just to see if she's here. And unless she's in this employees only back area, then she is not in this jewelry shop. What a lie that Rockstar told. Can you come in here on foot? Nope, you need some wheels for this job. So the dialogue we just heard on the phone is skippable, but this little mini cutscene is not. You must make Mrs. Dawson's death look like an accident. Do not use any weapons. When her car bursts into flames, make yourself scarce. Yourself should be one word. The definitive edition just got a major update. I'm assuming the first thing they did was fix yourself and make it one word.
Oh my god!
So we repeatedly ram into her car. When you hit her car, sometimes she has some dialogue. And every time we ram her, you can see the health of her car decreasing a little bit in the top right corner. We need to get that health bar empty.
Oh my god!
Recall that in the cutscene for this mission, Mr. Black, the guy on the other end of that phone call, called us Mr. Teal. He said, "Thanks for a job well done, Mr. Teal." That was referencing the killing of Carl Pearson, the pizza guy, in the last mission. And so I'll just remind you that Leo Teal, Mr. Teal, was the chef that we killed in the second story mission of this entire game, Back Alley Brawl. The thinking was that the chef wasn't just a chef, but was also a hired killer, an assassin, and we took his phone, and so Mr. Black had been the person hiring the chef, Mr. Teal, to do these assassination contracts, but Mr. Black still doesn't realize that we are not Leo Teal. Leo Teal is dead, and we just have his phone. So you can see the health bar is almost empty, but it's not enough just to empty that health bar. You actually do have to get far away from the flaming car. She's going to blow, get out of there. And if you're too close to the flaming car, when it blows up, then you fail, and we will see that fail state coming up now in the fails and quirks part of this video. As we saw in the opening cutscene, Mr. Dawson wants Mrs. Dawson killed, but it has to look like an accident, no weapons, and you can't be close to the explosion when she dies. Mission fail, you were too near the scene of the, quote, accident. I was curious to see if any of our wide variety of weapons would be okay, or would they all result in mission failure. And so we're going to see a bunch of clips of me trying different weapons. First, I'll show you that the doors to the Comet are locked, so we can't get in that way. And then I'll switch to my chainsaw. Does this fail us? Yep, it's supposed to look like an accident. Try ramming her off the road instead. So what happens if we try to use a bat? Kaboom! Mission fail, supposed to look like an accident. Alright, so far, no weapons indeed. Here's a micro SMG. Mission fail. She gets out of the car, runs around like a crazy person. I followed her for a while. Nothing interesting happened. Minigun, mission fail. Why did the car not blow up immediately? It was like the car was bulletproof for a few frames, and then it eventually succumbed to the power of the minigun. Mission fail with the rocket launcher. What about a flamethrower? Mission fail. And then the last weapon I'll demonstrate here is going to be the sniper. Now, she survives the sniper bullet, which is surprising. It's a mission fail, not surprising. And then I'm getting whacked in the head here, and so I just duck for cover in this Comet, and check out what happens when the officer tries to bust me. He can't open the door, and then he just stands there. He's given up on life. He's like, what else can I try? And then we got him alert again, and nothing. Just gives up on life, stands right next to me, and says, "There's nothing more I can do here." Yep, so this is a property of this particular Comet. Yep, that guy's going to stand in place because he's got no other options. I mean, like, it's not just me, right? This is an open-top car. They could just yank me out or climb in above the car. The Comet loses this property, the locked door property, if you take it into a paint spray. It also loses that property if you bring it into a garage and let the garage door close. So the Haitians are hostile towards Tommy. Let's see if they can figure out how to get into this locked vehicle and harass me. All right, so the guys I shot didn't know what to do. They ran away. These other guys came over. This one guy just keeps repeatedly. He's not opening the door and failing and then giving up and just standing still. No, he just keeps trying. It's the same guy over and over again. A for effort, I guess, but F for creative problem solving. So, not immune to bullets. I did have to use a cheat code to restore the health of my Comet, but it's pretty cool to not be able to get yanked out of your car by police or any of the hostile gangs. I think that officer right there should lay off the coffee. Man, that guy is jittery. Another fail state is letting Mrs. Dawson get away. So you're going to see that she's going to be off to my left. She's off there in the distance, and I'm going to drive basically in the opposite direction as she is. And we'll see how far away I need to be from her in order to fail the mission. It turns out it's not that far. She's like 2 blocks behind me now, and mission failed. We saw a few missions ago in the mission Martha's Mugshot that even though we were supposed to chase the helicopter, we didn't fail for letting the helicopter get away as long as we were pointed in the direction of the helicopter, no matter how far away the helicopter was. And I just wanted to test if it was the same kind of programming here. So all I'm going to do, I'll fast forward this for you, but we're just going to gradually rotate Tommy around, just pointing the little white teardrop in the minimap at the yellow square in the minimap. And let's just see whether or not I fail when she gets far away. So she's definitely more than 2 blocks away now, and you're going to see that I'm going to fail as soon as I rotate the camera around. She got away. So definitely something to do with the line of sight of Tommy and not necessarily his proximity to the car that Mrs. Dawson is in. In this episode of Fun with Tanks, first we're going to run into Mrs. Dawson and see if we are too close to the explosion. No, mission passed. That's a surprise. I thought we would fail for being right next to the vehicle. Clearly we were the person responsible for that explosion. What if we hit her with some ammo from the tank? Okay, unsurprisingly you fail. It's supposed to look like an accident. You can't just blast her with tank ammo, but you can run into her. Then I wanted to try the cheat code Big Bang, which blows up all the vehicles on the map, and that's another mission pass. When we tried going in the pink marker on foot, the game told us that we needed some wheels to proceed with the mission. Well, the Sea Sparrow here doesn't have any wheels, but will it work? Yeah, eventually, if you can get it into this pink marker without running into that tree too much. I did use a cheat code to restore the health of my Sea Sparrow here, and then I'm going to shoot at Mrs. Dawson's car with the ammo from the Sea Sparrow. Yeah, one of my viewers, Michael Mueller, shared with me that if you use the right mouse button, then you can shoot with the Sea Sparrow, and of course, it's another mission fail. As you might expect, a heavier vehicle is better for this mission because it inflicts damage on the Comet much more quickly. And there was a mission we did for Diaz way back when. It was called The Chase, where we had to chase a bad guy, 2 gang members, over to their hideout on Prawn Island, and they drove a BF injection. In fact, this BF injection. And the BF injection that they drove had a very special property. It was incredibly heavy. I think it was programmed that way just so that as the BF injection was being driven by the NPC, it wouldn't get stuck on anything, and it could just blast through any traffic or whatever. And you're not really supposed to get this BF injection, but if you're able to get the BF injection, and then you can blast, boom, it took up like half of the health. And now it's upside down, and look how quick. That was so fast. So this is an early game save file. I had to go way back and redo the chase and get the BF injection and then do this mission for this clip. But when I speedrun the game, I do have those 2 missions back to back. The chase, so that I can get the BF injection, and then I bring the special BF injection right over here and do Waste the Wife. And now we get to my challenge for this mission, and it comes from something I read in the trivia section for this mission's wiki. If Mrs. Dawson is killed by being rammed into the water, the mission will pass, but her death will not be included in the player's stats. I really wish I had never read that particular sentence in the trivia section of the wiki, because my attempts at passing this challenge, which is to ram Mrs. Dawson into the water, took me, 3 hours, 3.5 hours, I'm not sure. Way too long. And it wasn't even like fun attempts, because mostly it was just me driving around slightly behind Mrs. Dawson, hoping she would drive on a road that was close enough to water that I could push her into. And it was just, so painful to do each of these attempts. I know that Vice City is surrounded by water on all sides, but most of the roads are not within like ramming distance of the water. And then those roads that are within ramming distance of the water, many of them have like barricades, like right between the like grass and the water, or like if you're going over a bridge, there's like a small wall on either side of the bridge. And so you really need a place with like either a really short wall on either side of the road that you could push another car into the water over, or you need a place which is like grassy and doesn't have a fence protecting you from falling into the water. So here's your challenge. Pause the video if you'd like. Just think about what places are there on the map where there's a road, because Mrs. Dawson is only going to go on the road, that is close enough to water that potentially you could push a vehicle into. meaning it has like no wall or a very short wall right next to it. And also, you got to pick places that are kind of close to where Mrs. Dawson starts this mission. I know my favorite water pushing place is over by the Harmon Coliseum, but I don't know that Mrs. Dawson is capable of driving all the way out there during this particular mission. So pause the video if you'd like. Think about where are the places that have potential that you could ram Mrs. Dawson into the water. Okay, so if you're back with me, I'll show you some of the places that I think have potential. Like, for example, this bridge here, I don't think has potential. I think that wall is just too high to reasonably be able to push that Comet over, even with a real big, heavy enforcer, which is what I'm going to be using in all of my attempts. So I'll show you places that I think have potential. I'll also show you some of my close calls, but this is not going to be like a massive fails compilation. Most of my fails, I just drove around and nothing ever happened. She never went close to a place I could try to push her in. So that felt like close, but there is that, like there's the gate there on the left to protect you from the water. So that was kind of a good attempt, I guess. And then I'm going to show you Mrs. Dawson driving to a place that I've never seen her in all of my attempts at doing this mission. She's going to turn right here and start heading towards Starfish Island. I guess you're doing pretty bad if you let her get all the way over to Starfish Island. I mean, like, before she gets here, probably you've either passed the mission or failed the mission because she got away. And then I was wondering, was she going to like just drive around Starfish Island, or would she actually make her way all the way over to the Western Island, which again is another place I've never seen her during this mission. I don't think there's any good places that I can shove Mrs. Dawson into the water on Starfish Island, so I didn't even try. But largely, like I said, this is what my 3.5 hours of fails look like. It's just me driving right behind her next to Mrs. Dawson, hoping that she goes to, like on a road that's like dangerously close to water. So yeah, so here we are. Maybe this bridge, no, because there's like the fence, like it's just no chance, right? Like I thought maybe it was just the concrete wall that was like 6 inches high, but then I saw the gate there. There's just no way to push her over that gate. But anyway, there she is on the Western Island. So here's a spot that I think has a lot of potential. It's right next to the Pay and Spray. Between the Pay and Spray and then the start of the fence to my left here, there's a gap which has no fence and access to the water. So I'm actually going to be able to shove Mrs. Dawson into the water here, but she's going to be on fire. And the reason the mission ends isn't because she's in the water. It's because the vehicle exploded. It's a mission fail because I'm too close, but that doesn't count. I mean, it was my best attempt at that point, but it doesn't count because the vehicle exploded. That's why the mission ended. So this attempt contained just an oddity. I don't know why I rammed into her here. There's no chance to get her over that concrete wall to the left of the screen, but she got stuck. I think it was the hood of her car popped off, and then the hood of the car stopped in the ground, and then she got stuck on the hood of the car. And so she's kind of hovering here, glitching in and out of the roadway. I got out. I'm going to jump on the car and then get kind of slid off as if the car was like moving really fast or whatever. So I can't stay on here. Eventually the hood disappeared and she went on her merry way. That wasn't a spot with good potential, but just thought I would show off that kind of glitch. This bridge, maybe, I don't know, the walls on either side are like 1.5 feet tall. That's probably pushing, like the upper limit of what I could shove her over. So one strategy I came up with, it was to just wait by like the Pay and Spray here and then try to put myself in good position ahead of time, right? She hadn't committed to making this turn, but as soon as she did, I knew she was going to come out over here near this spot that I like. Whammo! Okay, so I cannot get her out of this corner, but I know she's going to back up. She's pretty well trained, actually, in terms of getting back on the road. So I was hoping she'd come out and make herself a sitting duck. Bam! Come on! No! We were close, gang. We were so close, and now we have nothing. In this attempt, I lost my enforcer, swapped over to this ambulance. Mistakes were made. I don't want to talk about it. But the ambulance is pretty heavy. Then we've got her on this little dock, and there's a little gap in the fence on the dock. Look, she's right next to the open water. Why? I need to push her. And then I saw she was going to escape, so I tried to put my ambulance in front, and she was like, oh, I can just go right under you, no problem. And I was close to falling in the water, and I got nothing. I tried opening the door. I don't know why. I was desperate. I know it's locked, but she at least stopped for me while I was trying to open the door and start from scratch. This bridge up ahead has a lot of potential. Look how short these walls are on either side of the bridge, and to the right, here we go, blammo! Okay, so I see the mistake that I was making here. At this point in my attempts, I was still trying to, jackknife her car, if that's the word. Like, I was trying to ram my police enforcer into the middle of her car, like the side of her car. What I really should have been doing was try to gently, urge her in the direction of the water, like let her drive in whatever direction she was driving in, but I should just kind of gently corral her to the side, getting her closer and closer to the water, but working with her, working in the direction she was driving. I just didn't have enough weight in my vehicle to just totally ram her at a 90-degree angle from her direction of travel. And in this attempt, you're seeing another one of the techniques I developed throughout all of my many attempts for this challenge is to just wait. Like if she's going to a place that has no water, no potential, I'll sometimes just wait and hope that she comes back because I'm again near my favorite spot by the pay and spray. And if she didn't come back, I'd fail, but she did come back and it's like, all right, game on. Maybe we have a chance here. And so I'll give you the, kind of corralling strategy. So I'm just trying to gently move her to the right. All right, she's on two wheels. She's so close. Just got to shove her in there. We got this. This is mission pass. Get out of here. No, how did I miss that one? I can't believe it. And now this is later on in that same exact attempt. All I did was cut out 2.5 minutes of boring driving around the map following that comet. And we've got another lottery ticket. She's by the pay and spray. There's a speedrunner who does a bunch of classic retro video games, Arcus, A-R-C-U-S. You can check him out. And whenever he's on a good run, he says, all right, we've got a lottery ticket, like a good run late in the game. And that's all I was doing was driving around repeatedly hoping for a lottery ticket. And she's headed towards that really nice bridge with the short walls over by Ken Rosenberg's office. Here we go, and just shove her into the water gently, gently, gently. Here I go into the water. She's going to blow. All right, I guess she's on fire. Is it a mission pass? It is a mission pass, and somebody got drowned. So can I call this a success on my challenge? I was honestly sorely tempted to let this be the last attempt. While we check out this, my final attempt at this challenge, let's go ahead and read from the wiki for Mrs. Dawson, a minor character in Vice City, no appearances in any other game. Her voice actor is unknown. She is married to Mr. Dawson, and she owns a yellow comet. By the 1980s, Mrs. Dawson was married and became a regular customer of the jewelry store in Vice Point. That seems like a stretch to me. How do we know that she's a regular customer? Yeah, it's true that Mr. Dawson knew she was going to be at this jewelry store, and so he gave those instructions to Mr. Black, who gave those instructions to us at the phone booth, but this could have been her first time at the jewelry store. Who knows? It is implied that the Dawson couple had a stressful relationship, possibly due to the fact that she spent too much of Mr. Dawson's money on jewelry, leading to her assassination in 1986. That seems like a crazy stretch to me. I would hazard a guess that the most common reason that one person in a married couple wants the other one dead is that one of the two is having an affair. You know, either the person that wants the assassination to happen is having an affair, or the person that wants the assassination to happen wants to kill their partner because their partner is having an affair. This seems like a reach to me, the fact that she was spending Mr. Dawson's money on jewelry, and that's why he wanted her dead. And how do we even know that it's his money, right? Couldn't she be the one that's like independently wealthy? I don't know. There's another spot that had good potential that I didn't show you in any of my other attempts, but it's a right here and then a left at the end of this road, and then the grass area, like directly in front of me, there's grass with no gate. So occasionally Mrs. Dawson would drive on that road, but I was just never able to get her shoved all the way through the grass. She just kept, like backing up when I was pushing her and getting back on the road. I just couldn't stay with her the whole time. Okay, gang, here we go. This is the bridge. This is the one. We're going to gently corral, no T-boning. Here we go, slightly to the right, slightly to the right. Yes! No explosion. Mission passed. Holy cow. That took a lot of attempts. Shake the camera. We're real happy. Wow, that was nuts. Okay, so all that's left to do in this mission, or in this video, I should say, is to take the next Mr. Black phone call and then drive to the next payphone location, which is actually the same location as where we did the first Mr. Black payphone mission. Here's the phone call.
Get to the payphone next to the mall in Washington.
As we head to that payphone, let's go back to reading from Mrs. Dawson's wiki. Mrs. Dawson does not have her own character model and instead appears with a generic pedestrian model. This pedestrian model is also used as one of the models for the counterfeit syndicate guards in the mission Hit the Courier, which we haven't yet done in this video series. So don't feel too bad that Mrs. Dawson is killed here. We're going to see her again for sure in Hit the Courier, and we might even see her just roaming around on the streets as the exact same pedestrian model that's used in this mission. If you have any memories of Waste the Wife that you'd like to share, go ahead and throw them in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you real soon.